pjnet.tv. It is 9:30, bottom of the hour. Time for part 2, and we are running the favorite custom bumper of our guest, Del Duduit. We are recording. We are streaming to 9 social media destinations, and we have a chat room waiting. So we'll switch to Studio 8 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I almost messed that up. I did not have things as ready as I thought. Hey, folks, it's going to be a great half hour. Every Tuesday we get together with our good friend Del Duduit, who has been with us since the very beginning. And he's been a constant team player for us. And now we're actually going to get a chance to be a team player for Del. So let's bring Del all the way in from Ohio. And Del, we want to talk about your blog today, but there's a whole lot more. Ohio. Is the band, let's say they bring football back with no fans, is the band still going to do the Ohio halftime show?
Yeah, but it wouldn't be the same. But there's not going to be any football this year. They made the ruling today.
Oh, Dale, none.
Big Ten is not going to happen until maybe the spring. The MAC, the Mid-American Conference, the Pac-12, they're all caving to fear. They're all caving to
promoted fear.
I said that, yeah, promoted fear.
That's the phrase right out of your blog.
It was. It's promoted fear. It's just one reason. There's just one reason for this, and that's just to sway the elections and to hurt Donald Trump. That's the only reason you're seeing this fear and pandemic, because the vaccine that they're coming up with has side effects. One of those side effects has a higher death rate than the actual virus does. That's not funny.
You can't make this stuff up.
No. So anyway, so you already got me off going on a tangent. But there is no football. There is no Big Ten. There is no Pac-12. There is no Mid-American Conference. And there will be numerous more conferences cater and fall in line to the Gestapo. Yes.
Is it true that when the Ohio band does the Ohio, in cursive?
Ohio.
First of all, cursive is a thing of the past, so I'm glad they at least preserve that tradition. But is it true that it was a special honor to be the dot of the I?
Yeah, it's only given to a senior tuba player, and that person's voted on each week who to be tapped. And it's a great honor. It's a very rare, distinguished honor to be tapped to dot the I. And sometimes there are celebrities who are chosen to go out and dot the I as well. But it's a thrilling experience when the band marches out on in the horseshoe right before the game and does the script Ohio, and probably in 10 years it'll be the text Ohio. Yeah. And it won't even be spelled correctly. So yeah, the script Ohio actually. I point this out in my first book, Buckeye Believer. Mm-hmm. The first script Ohio was not done by Ohio State's band. Oh, so you have to get the book and figure it out. In fact, it's the last chapter of the book.
Oh, a stolen tradition, a hijacked.
No, it was done for Ohio State as a gift, as a significant hospitality. And so. And I just got a note. I have a friend watching from Tokyo, Japan. Is watching.
You had to go all the way to Tokyo to find a friend. You ought to find some nearby.
Yeah. So welcome everyone.
You were going to go see him, but then that got pandemicked out.
Yeah, I was going to go visit this person. And when the Olympics, was stopped, and now it's hopefully next year. So hopefully I'll be going to Tokyo. And I'm looking forward to that. So, welcome my friend Olive, who's watching from Tokyo.
Well, I wonder what hour of the day it is over there.
Yeah, I think it's probably tomorrow morning. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's or yesterday.
Yeah. No, it's tomorrow. So today ahead of us. But Script Ohio is fascinating to watch. It's thrilling. It's to get everybody psyched up, and it's everybody. And when there's alumni day there, all the alumni bands. So you have 4 Script Ohios. They take place all over the field at the same time, and it's kind of confusing. But I actually do a blog, or I actually wrote a chapter about Script Ohio, and what it takes to do that. Because if you've seen it, it can be very confusing if one person gets out of line.
It's iconic.
It's a wonderful tradition that takes discipline and a lot of they have to follow the leader. Have to follow the drum major. So my take on that is, as a father, you have to lead your family, and if you get out of step, then the whole thing's like dominoes. It could fall. So
the Blue Angels, the Thunderbirds, and so forth, same thing. In fact, they were practicing one time, and the leader, crashed his plane, went too low, and the rest of them followed him right down. It takes that kind of discipline. Have you heard of the Florida Battle of the Bands?
Yes.
That's quite a tradition.
But getting back to what we're talking about, football is not going to happen this year, as far as the Big Ten and as far as some of your other major conferences go. High school in our state is reduced to 6 games, and there's the Indianapolis 500 will run without fans. It's probably the first time I won't be able to go in years. The Kentucky Derby, I won't be able to go to the Kentucky Derby this year. I'm not sure I'll be going to the Bengals games yet, but I really don't want to go to the NFL games. I will never watch an NBA game. I'll never watch an NBA game.
Not going to happen.
No. So anyway, getting back to getting onto the blog. I thought
your blog was happier than
taking things for granted. Obviously, was the theme, and I had to. Last week I promoted Auburn Believer, and this one I did Bama Believer. I had to do it justice too, and got the books this week. They launched
yesterday.
Launched yesterday. They're good looking covers. I love them. They're awesome looking. New Hope Publishers did a great job on those. And so the take on this was taking things for granted. We take things for granted every day without really realizing it, Mark. I mean, I had pointed out a cup of coffee, flipping a light switch on, or a sunrise or a sunset. And now we took for granted football because now it's gone. And if we're not careful, we're going to lose our freedom. And people scoff and laugh about that. But right before our show, I was on a video call with my congressman, and I'm on his reelection campaign, and he had all of his chairmen have a Zoom call. And he said to all of us, he says, if people think we can't lose our freedom, then they got another thing coming, because it's happening in cities across our nation right now. They're losing their freedom because of thugs and because of liberals and because of let's be okay with everybody. Let's don't offend anybody. These people offend me. These people are offending me, and nobody cares. So our freedom right now is under fire. Our freedom could be taken for granted right now because we just take it for granted that it's always going to be there. But when a governor or a mayor says, hey, you got to wear a mask, or what's to stop them from saying, hey, Mark, you can't go to the store on Saturdays. You can only go on Sunday through Friday. And people say, oh, okay. Yeah, they're falling in line because the media is shoving it down their throat. The media is indoctrinating them. The liberal candidates have gone so far left just to get the vote of the thugs that they've totally lost sight. And he pointed out in our conversation, he said, if the election does not go the way we want it to, we will lose the presidency. And if we lose the presidency, we will lose the Senate. And if we lose the Senate and we have no say in government, the first target is our Second Amendment. They're going to go after your Second Amendment, and they will erase the Second Amendment from the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Just like they're erasing our history, just like they're tearing down our monuments, they will destroy and eradicate the Second Amendment.
I think that I don't disagree with his statement. I disagree with what he thinks will happen first. I think they first would do away with the Electoral College. Because
I don't want to. I don't want to have that discussion. I don't think it'll happen. It better not happen. But the electoral. No, they won't. If they win, they'll be fine. They won't mess it up. If they lose, they're going to squall about the Electoral College. They want to get rid of it because I really, ideally, the people who are squawking about it can't add. Your AOC has to take her shoes off just to count. So she doesn't understand the Electoral College. So
they don't understand that we are the united what? States.
Yeah.
States. The federal government was given birth by the states in a contract. Anyway.
So, but the the whole gist of it was taking things for granted, and how if we're not careful, we're going to lose these things, and then we'll really appreciate them, them. So
Right.
it's a challenge to people to do something. Don't just sit there and whine. Don't just sit there and complain. Oh, it'll never happen. Do something about it. Do something. Vote. Educate yourself. Don't just vote for a candidate because your dad did 30 years ago and that you've always been trained this way or it's your way of life. Educate yourself. See what the issues are about. See what these people stand for. Then make an educated decision. And if you vote Democrat, then you're not educating yourself.
You missed something.
Yeah, you missed the whole boat.
Yesterday was August the 10th, the day that has been on your calendar for some time.
Yeah.
Give us a report card.
Auburn Believer, Bama Believer, which I just showed you, launched a little bit there, a couple days yesterday. So, we had some things planned, which we had to rearrange. we were going to be in Alabama and at some practices and things like that, but that's not going to happen. And so it's going well. We're doing all we can right now to promote. I'm flying down Thursday to Atlanta to be on a couple of TV shows. WATC is one of the bigger religious Christian stations down there. I'm going to have some time with them, and I'll come back and then do some more promotions. So, that's what we're doing now. We have to adjust and we have to find different ways to tell everybody about it. And so far, I've been on some more podcasts. I've been a guest on several of them lately, and I'm doing my own promotions as well. So, it'll if we have to do a delayed launch again next year or when the SEC's back on the field. Mm-hmm. We'll be probably able to go down and get some time to some of these coaches and some of the players. You
could, yeah. You don't plan these things, but you could put it on ice and just wait for football. Football, it's hard for me to imagine that football would disappear from American culture. I guess anything could happen, but I doubt that would be the case.
I doubt it. Right.
I think once this election is over, should there be a Republican victory, that'll be the coronavirus will die with it.
It's going to go away either way.
Yeah, it'll be gone. Yesterday was also the birth of a new business venture for you.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I didn't see you know. Folks, this is unscripted, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of threw me off. Are you talking about the voiceovers? Yeah, the Devo. Yeah, I came up with that idea and that name. I kind of like it. Just started. In fact, I've had several people send me messages. They want some information about it, which is always encouraging. I will be doing voiceovers. I'll be doing commercials if they want something read. If they want a 30-second, 10-second spot for businesses or a commercial. Or one person sent me a message about a church announcement. Sure, I'll do that. Mm-hmm. And I'll put it on an MP3 drive and send it to them. Mm-hmm. And I'll even do some endorsements. Now I got to kind of watch across this fine line because I don't want to endorse something I don't like or approve. So I put a little blurb in there. I reserve the right to say no if I don't like this or I won't offend you, but I just won't do it. So
you could offer reviews instead of endorsements.
Right. I just called it endorsements. It's the same thing. So it just
you wanted it to be DEVO, which is Dell's
Devo.
Endorsements and voiceovers.
Yeah. So and I thought
I know all about this stuff.
Yeah. So that come to me like on a Friday night. I thought that's a appropriate name, Devo.
So Monday morning, there it was.
I said Saturday. So, and I've been not blown away, but I've had enough response to get me excited about it.
Well, there certainly was a good amount of fanfare when you announced it on Facebook. Now that's great, really. It is, but great. That isn't what you deposit in the bank.
No. So, and so I put my prices on my website, and I know everybody wants things for free, but it's almost free. But if you look at them, so and I did some research on it, on what others charge and what others do, and right now it's starting to I'm getting some responses, and it's going to be fun. And I'll have to probably upgrade some equipment, but I think I have enough equipment now.
I think I'm going to spell your name correctly.
You did, yes, you did. Thank you.
No, I did not.
You did not. I didn't see it actually. So
D-U-D. Yeah, I did it right. Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I did.
I thought so.
Dell did what? Boy, I thought I'd messed up. I'll put it back up there.
D-U-D-U-I-T.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So it's, I put a page on my website about it, and I'm probably going to redo the website a little bit, but it's just something I have fun doing. And and we're getting ready to launch that podcast in October, and we're making headway on that, and we're excited about that. We're starting to get some good interviews lined up with people that, people will know their names, and it'll be a lot of fun. So I've got a lot of irons in the fire right now.
You do.
But I'd rather do that than be bored. But yeah.
Well, something that I observe in my own life. I went when I was just getting out of college. I had a collection of business cards that's unrivaled. I change jobs every 6 months. Well, if you keep doing that, it gets harder and harder to get a job.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the final interviews that I went on later and they said, "Oh, let's see, your last job. You were there 6 months. Why so long? You didn't make."
Yeah.
But I literally kind of became unemployable, and that's when there were other factors. But the point I'm making is I made a decision that, well, if nobody else will hire me, I will. And from the age of 22, I have been working for myself until the last 4 years. I took a part-time job.
Yeah.
But that was 4 years ago. Is the first time I've been on somebody else's payroll since I was 22. Yeah. Here's my point. Everybody's saying there's no jobs, and businesses are closed down. Well, start a business. Mm-hmm. Start one.
Exactly. Well, I've started my own business. It's not thriving, but I'm starting to make money now.
Well, but they got their hand out saying, "Give me money because
I know
I can't work." Well, wait a minute. You can detail cars.
Yeah, you can cut grass and cut lawns for people.
Yeah.
So it's just not glamorous, but people want that. Again, this generation we've raised is really lazy, and they're entitled. I think that's the best word for them. They're entitled. They want everything. They see what my kids work hard. But there are some that say, I want what you have, but they didn't see when I was 25, 23, 24, 25 years old, counting pennies to go buy milk. Mm-hmm. I've been there, and you struggle, and that makes you appreciate things. So it's just better being patient and working your way up and not biting off more you can chew. And again, society's really put a hamper on that because everybody's got to have, the best cars. I see high school kids now with like Porsches. Like I had to use like duct tape to have my door shut on my first car. No, it was an old Nova, and I had the
Chevy Nova.
Had to have duct tape on it, and it got so bad that the door wouldn't even open. I had to climb through the window. So, but got me where I was going. But today, there's no kid in the world would drive that today. I kind of liked it. I thought it was a cool car.
They were, yeah. I remember the Chevy Nova had a 350. It'd pass anything but a gas station. Yeah. And of course, gas was only 25 cents a gallon back then.
Guzzle the gas, that's right.
In those times when you were struggling, Dale, as a young man, did you ever make one of those vows that I'll never let this happen again?
Oh man, I could write a book on that actually. Several of them. Yeah, you say if you do this, I'll never do that again, or things like that. So
because there are some grievous.
Didn't really work.
Yeah, there are gut-wrenching times that I can recall, and as a man, it really gets to you. It just gets you at the very essence of your being. I saw this thing on Facebook where this little kid in diapers was standing in front of a TV, and they were playing the Rocky, training segment. Have you seen that one?
No.
Oh gosh, it was really cute, and they thought it was funny, comical or entertaining. And my reply was the making of a man. I don't know that we make men like that anymore. We admire, Rocky in the struggle and the victory. I used to watch that on Sunday afternoon. The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
Yeah. So. Yeah, the movie Rocky actually it's a great film. It's actually a love story. If you really watch it, but it's a great story of overcoming and meeting the challenge. And you don't always win. He lost that fight, but he won himself. He won her. He found himself as a winner. So that's what it's about: is the struggle and not necessarily getting the big trophy, as we taught all these kids all these years. but struggle, get through it, work through it, endeavor, persevere, and you'll be the winner, no matter if you get the title or the crown or not. So, and that's one of the things I tried to point out in the blog is, things that we could lose if we don't watch, or if we don't take it for granted, like love of God and forgiveness, and our freedom's one of them. So, we shouldn't take God's forgiveness for granted. Obviously, His love for granted. Your gift. Everybody has a gift. It may not be a writer, or it might not be to host a TV show, but there you have a gift you can do. And I've talked to a lot of people. I don't know what I can do. Well, then just start doing something.
Then you haven't thought about it.
Right.
Everybody have a gift.
Everybody wants to get up and sing. How about drive a van? How about go serve soup at a homeless place, or go hand out clothes? Do something. Don't just sit there and I don't have nothing to do. Yes, you do. You just don't want to do it.
You don't want to do it.
No. And I every year again we go to the Tim Tebow event. I shine shoes for 3 hours, and it makes me feel great. That I'm down on my knees, getting my hands all black and in my tuxedo, just so I can watch a couple of kids who I don't know smile and feel good. So yes, you can do something. It doesn't have to be all this glory and everybody, all these accolades. Sometimes the best things you do in private are the things that satisfy you the most. So get off your can and do something, and stop complaining.
There are volunteer organizations that need volunteers. So if you find yourself out of work, why don't you do this?
Yeah.
Go volunteer yourself, because you now have time.
Yeah.
And you know what? You can put that on your resume. And I know as an employer, one of the things I looked at, or it was a question I would ask, is what do you do when you're not working?
Yeah.
And some of the answers disqualified people.
And these are things that you brag about, but or let people know. But there's times when you go down to our local hospice and just take in the box of donuts to some of the nurses. I've done that. They appreciate that. Go in 9 or 10 o'clock at night and say, to the nursing staff. Yeah, they're always on. They appreciate that, because nobody does things like that. And just little things. It doesn't have to be a big magnitude. Just do something little. Pay for somebody's coffee standing behind you. Just something. You can do something to make somebody's day brighter, without all the thank yous and putting it on Facebook and stuff like that. So,
and keep it to yourself.
Right. Yeah. That's why a lot of these, we talk about some of these athletes, at Christmas time, they always have a TV crew go with them when they buy out the whole store, which is great. One of the things I liked was when Kid Rock went into a Walmart in Nashville and did it, incognito, but people found out about it.
Right.
And he went in and paid for everybody's layaways. And it was like 2 days later, somebody found out and put it out there. But he's like, I didn't want anybody to know that.
Right.
But that was awesome. To go in and pay for people's layaways for the whole store. And so do something. We can't do that. I can't do that. You could do that maybe, Coach, but I can't do that.
Well, it depends on the store. In your blog, you mentioned things like that. In other words, when we assess our usefulness, you make the statement that use your gifts. Now, and then you say everybody has a different gift, but I would go on to say that everybody, in my opinion, definitely has a gift, and I believe it is from God. Now, I further believe that not using that gift puts you at risk of losing it.
Well, definitely. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it. He'll give it to somebody else. I didn't realize mine until I was midlife. I was 50 years old before I started doing a writing ministry, because I always wanted to do something, but I didn't know how to. I didn't know this writing world existed. I really didn't. And I'm not using that as an excuse. I didn't know it was out there until I wrote that manuscript and didn't know what to do. And just by blind faith, reached out to Michelle, who I didn't know at the time, who pointed me in the right direction. Now,
well, and who came up with the idea to go to that Florida Writers Conference, Christian Writers Conference? How did that get on the radar?
Well, Michelle had recommended that I go to the Asheville Writers Conference. She said, hey, there's one close to you. I'm going to be there. Go to this conference. So we went. And then while I was there, I met some more folks there. Michelle's like, "What are you doing in 2 weeks?" I'm like, "Nothing. We'll come down to Florida." So it was just like that. It was, "Hey, what are you doing here in 2 or 3 weeks? There's another conference down in Florida, and there'll be more people there you can meet." I go to that conference, go down to meet Kyle. I didn't know Kyle, and now we're our names are on a book together. So that's how that happened, and because I was willing to do it, just said, "Okay, I'll go."
Well, I have heard this comment from others about you, Dell. I've heard many, but the one that I always hear is, when you got into this, you were ignorant, you knew you were ignorant, and you were therefore coachable. You didn't know what you were doing, so if somebody like Kyle, who knows what they're doing, says this is how you do it, but I'm surprised at when people will call me and ask for advice on something, and then when you offer it, they start arguing.
Yeah, I know. No, the first thing I did was Michelle told me what to do. She didn't tell me. She said, "Here's what I think you should do," and I made a whole list out and I checked them off. And then by the time we met, I said, "Here, I've done all these." She's like, "Oh my gosh, really?" "Yes." So she said, "You need to go to Florida." So I went to Florida, and then met up with Kyle. Again, I had nothing to show for him. I had nothing. And he said, "I'll take a chance with you." And I think there's something here. So he saw it and believed in me and gave me a shot at it because I showed him I was willing to do what he wanted me to do. And that's something I teach in my classes. I think you've been to them. I say your ego has nowhere in this industry. You cannot have an ego. If you do have an ego, then you're probably not going to go very far.
Well, you're going to pay for it. You pay a high price.
Yeah.
Do you know what an asshole is?
Was that a name you're calling? What'd you call
an
me?
asshole? An asshole.
No.
Okay, it's a person that asks for your advice all the time but never takes it.
I just call those people jerks. No, I'm kidding.
All right. So by this time next week, you will be reporting primarily that you're not doing book signings and that kind of thing. So
not in person. No, I've had a lot of people say, if I send it to you, we sign it. Sure, I'll do that. But no, I'm not doing any in-person signings right now, which is okay. I mean, I kind of miss those. They're fun.
Well, I was going to say they're fun.
But I'll be going down to Atlanta Thursday, and then a lot going
Southwest.
on. Yes, I am. Great airfares right now. Great fares.
We just bought. My wife just bought a ticket for my daughter to meet her in Atlanta for a little vacation. I think she paid $97 round trip.
I'm about there. So when are they going? Because I'll be there Thursday. Will it be there Thursday?
No, this is like in September.
Okay.
When the leaves are kind of
Let's say they could offer to put me up somewhere, but that's okay.
Yeah. Put you up on the shelf. There you go.
Yeah, I know.
All right, well, DellDidway.com, which I put on the screen earlier, blogs every Tuesday, and this week is an outstanding.
And thanks for everybody in the chat room for being there. It's been a lively chat room. It's been great.
I know, and you were there earlier as well.
Jake had a good show.
Well, I love our chat room because it's the difference, I think. One of the distinguishing characteristics of pjnet.tv is a 24/7 chat room. All of the live things you do, they have their chat, but it's just a window that's open and it closes, and that, which is, that's fine. I mean, it allows people to interact, but well, you're a champ, Dell, and I appreciate you and all that you're doing. And I love it that you always are here on Tuesday night because I do know that you are, one, busy. Number two, you are on a trajectory in your career that is almost vertical. And it's easy to forget, where you came from. And I hope that it'll always be that way. And I don't know, I was trying to think, when's the next time we're actually going to see each other? I don't know if I'm going to go to the Florida conference or not.
I'll be there. I mean, I've thought about going out a few days.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah,
be, right?
Well, if they have it. And so I think I'm going to come down for a few days early. Maybe go over to Clearwater, do some fishing beforehand if we're allowed to, So,
well, Clearwater has the Gulf is one thing. The Atlantic is quite another.
Yeah, I'll go to the Gulf. I'll go to the Gulf.
Yeah, well, they both have their specialties, and I have harvested many an amberjack from the
man.
Gulf. But gosh, they will. Yeah, those were the good old. I don't know. When's the last time you chartered a boat?
Last time we were down there in Fort Myers, which was about 4 years ago, I think. Went out tarpon fishing. And
What's the going rate on that back then?
Gosh, what was that for 4 hours? $400 or $500.
Yeah, because
I
had a deal. Yeah, I had a deal at $100 an hour.
Yeah, not right.
But that was back then. I mean, this was 20 years ago.
Okay.
I bet it's up to $200 an hour now. The price of diesel's gone crazy.
So we'll see. But then this is Shark Week, so I've been posting a lot of pictures of some of the sharks I've caught over the years. So it's a lot of fun. So,
you're not the first to mention Shark Week, and
that's a great week. But we've caught several sharks. We like to go out sharking in the evening. We catch and release, folks. But there's one we do have that we ate, and he's on my wall. So it's a big one. It's a big, about a 6.5 foot black tip, about 245 pounds. So we end up keeping that one and having some good steaks.
All right. Well, got to have protein. That's what we're there.
Awesome.
And I hate this. A lot of this. There's so many rules now, and that's I quit duck hunting for the same reason. They just legislated all the fun out of it, and they made it so expensive. But what aggravates me, and I don't understand. When you go amberjack fishing, those amberjack are 100 to 125 feet down, and when you bring them up to the surface, the bends, they're going to die. They're not going to survive.
Yeah.
And you have to release them. It's like they're dead. They're
dead.
They're mortally wounded. I mean, they're not. So, I don't get it.
Well, I love catching grouper. Grouper's hard to bring up if you don't grab
the
it
first
right off
10
the bat.
feet. The first 10 feet's tough, yeah.
Because they'll go right back under those rocks, and so you got to get them up quick. And boy, they're good to eat too. I love a good grouper
I remember we brought in about 400-pound of grouper after one charter.
Oh man!
And but we probably left another 400 under the rocks because that's what they do.
And we lashed onto a big Goliath one time. Of course, you can't. Those are protected. So, but those are awesome. We one of the funnest thing we ever caught. We caught about a 9-foot nurse shark. And they're pretty docile and pretty gentle. But he was fun to play with. He came up finally got him up to the top. It was about 9 feet. Our captain said about 350, 400 pounds. And he was so tired, he rolled over on his back. And everybody else went down and patted his belly. And then we cut him loose, and he just wandered off, Because they're pretty gentle.
You ever caught an AJ? Ever caught amber? They will wear you out, buddy.
Is it a barracuda? We caught a barracuda one time and brought in his head because a shark came up and grabbed it.
Yeah. Basically, any fish, if you look at their tail, and if it looks like that, they're going to fight.
Yeah.
And what gets me is you got this amberjack, and you have labor. I mean, and you see this little fish and say, this little fish has done this to me. I mean, our arms were trembling. We could not continue.
Well, when I brought in that shark, it took me about almost an hour to bring in the big one that we ended up keeping. And the next morning, my hands and arms were so sore because that thing just beat me up the whole time. Yeah, and went under the boat. Had to go under the boat, around the boat. It was a lot of fun though. But we were about ready to call it a night. Our time was up, and I was almost falling asleep because the water was just like glass. It was a beautiful evening. The sun was setting, and my pole just went nuts. And the captain yelled, "Grab that, lock her down." And I said, "It's time to go in." He goes, "No, we're going to stay out here for this one."
Yeah, that's as much a trophy for him as it is for you, Dale.
It was because they put big pictures on the website and everything.
That's an accolade. Yeah, that sells more charters. It does. All right. Well, Dale, thanks. Always fun talking to you, the world's most interesting man, right here on pjnet.tv. Dale. All right, there he is. Well, yeah, we got to spin a few fishing yarns, and if you're not a fisherman of one of the sea, you might not have enjoyed that as much as Dell and I did. But anyway, folks, it's always great. There's so much going on, and I don't have time to explain it, but I can't begin to tell you how excited I am and how optimistic and encouraged and hopeful I am about the future of pjnet.tv. And one of the reasons that I am excited is the things we do, the technology, the products, and the things like that. But folks, I want you to know that is not what's exciting about PJNet. because technology is impersonal. What's exciting about PJNet is when I stop and after we go off the air, I scroll through the chat and I see all the interaction and the fellowship and the bonding and the relationships that are built and forged in steel right here. Folks, we need to do more of that, okay? Because we need to stick together. None of us can make it on our own, and I encourage you to not keep pjnet.tv a secret. And invite a friend. Dell had a friend. He had to go all the way to Tokyo to find a friend, but you probably have some nearby. And invite a friend. So, all right, we'll be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, and we look forward to that. On my way out, I would like to challenge you with the following 2 questions. I challenge myself with them as well. First, what is the boldest thing that you've ever done for Jesus Christ? And second, when was that? To win the battle, which we must, we can never allow ourselves to be satisfied with either answer.